Lego Island 2 was a bad game, but I still played it. Why did the demons of my childhood lust have to make me yearn for something with newfangled graphics and sequels to games that made my computer freeze for no adequately explained reason? Also, my desire for more Lego games probably drove me to it in the same way a meth addict craves more meth, and 12 years later he's gone through rehab and has to look back on it and realize it really wasn't that fun. Lego Island 2, or as I like to call it, Lego Loading. Seriously, everything you do in this game requires a loading screen. Jump into a new game, loading screen. Start up a mini game, loading screen. Go into a building, loading screen. Go out of a building, even longer loading screen. 20% of this game is resisting the urge to punch your monitor because you're stuck in loading screen 1 through 4586. I hope you enjoy watching the same spinning disc over and over again. So when the game finally loads, there's this infomaniac guy who may or may not be the mayor of the island. Hell, maybe he's the fucking ruler and Lego Island is a sovereign nation of Legoland. It makes sense, seeing as how they have their own freaking space program. So the infomaniac tells you you have to deliver pizzas to everyone in town, and in exchange everyone's going to donate pieces of your new house. So I guess at the start of the game, Pepper is homeless? That or he lives in the cave on the island that's never really explained. So you go around delivering pizzas to everyone. I guess this is to introduce you to all the characters, but none of these people serve any purpose after they get their pepperoni pizza with olives and mushrooms. And might I add, once they get it, they just sit down on the ground and eat it. It's kind of weird. Some of these people didn't even order pizza. It's like the game is forcing you to talk to everyone in the hope that they'll take your pizza. Some of these people are weird. For example, I think the mailman has chronic depression. He tends to talk like this all the time. And why is the train station conductor some kind of superhero who can fly? Doesn't that sort of, I don't know, defeat the purpose of a goddamn train? For that matter, why does he insist on picking me up and flying me off the train tracks whenever I step foot near them, since the train can only stop in 2 places and is inaccessible for most of the game anyway? When I park a car on the one railway crossing, will that cause the train to crash and kill everyone? Probably not, because this game is rated E. Seriously, the train is so stupid! It can only stop in 2 places, and it's inaccessible for all of the game except for 2 levels! This one, and the one at the end of the game! I'm a train enthusiast, Lego Media. You couldn't have put a little bit more effort into a train. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, but oh my god, it's so stupid! Then there's the people who just give you the bricks without taking your pizza, which is weird and confusing. So anyway, you deliver all of the pizzas, and then this guy assembles your house by calling down the bricks from the sky or some shit. So anyway, you go look at the house, and then this guy calls you up on your headphone radio thing, and he's all like, "Hey, Pepper, you've done such a fine job. Yes, a super fine job. Yeah, you were so fucking stupid for playing this game." And before I go any further, yes, he does use that accent. "It's me, you're a typical Italian stereotype." But it turns out that you could actually go in this house and play all of the games that you've completed throughout this game. Except for the fact that this whole system is fucking flawed. If you score 0 points in some of the games, then you won't be able to replay them. One in particular where you're flying a goddamn biplane, and if you don't shoot anything, you don't get any points, and you don't get to replay the minigame. Oh yeah, and the loading screen while exiting your house is fucking ridiculous. But anyway, you remember that guy who called you up and he was Italian or some shit? He talks like a Mario, but he's not going out to save the princess. But anyway, then he calls you over and he says you have to deliver a pizza to this guy in prison. But it turns out that it's the villain from the last game, the Brickster guy, who for some reason has adopted a very, 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 very weird face. So anyway, you give him the pizza, which has a chili on it. Oh yeah, that's relevant somehow. And he somehow uses this to summon his fire breath and break out of jail and steal a helicopter. Then he goes to the information center and steals this book called The Constructopedia or something. But anyway, then he goes up on the roof and starts tearing pages out of this Constructopedia Constructopedia or some shit, and that for some reason causes all of the buildings to fly up into the air. So this one fucking book is responsible for the fact that all of the buildings are able to keep from flying out into space. The fuckers had this sitting on a table inside of the information center, just sitting there in plain sight. He literally just walks in and takes the fucking thing while the infomaniac is fucking asleep. I don't know about you, but I would put a book like that under extremely heavy guard. That or bury it where no one's gonna fucking find it. Seriously, you left it like right out in the open where he could fucking just pick it up and fucking tear out all the pages. I'd hate to steal a line from Lyle McDouchebag, but that's just fucking dumb. And throughout this whole apocalyptic event where all of the buildings just seem to have lost gravity, all that Pepper... Oh yeah, the main character's name is Pepper. Is only focused on the fact that the Brickster didn't pay for his pizza. Oh no, I'm sorry, I completely forgot. Not paying for your pizza is punishable by death in several countries, including Legoland. So then the Brickster guy summons forth a whole bunch of robots from some island out in space. What the fuck is this shit? So the Brickster has a giant army of robots, and he's turned Lego Island into a parking lot, I guess. And the infomaniac decides that they need some hero who knows what he's doing to take on the Brickster and his army of evil robots, so logically the person for the job is the pizza delivery kid. Maybe he thought it would be done in 30 minutes or less. Obviously, that is not the case, seeing as how it probably takes you like 5 hours total to beat this. So he tells you to go around the island and find the pages to the Constructopedia that have been scattered all over the place, apparently. But it turns out the Brickster's giant robot army isn't really all that threatening. They just sort of follow people around and mimic their movements. It's just like they're saying,
I don't have any weapons, so I'm just going to follow you and mimic your movements. Beep.
But apparently you could just throw pizzas at them and then they'll be like,
oh no, pizza, buy one weakness. Beep.
And then they're dead and you get points. So anyway, you find all the pages and then you do this whack-a-mole video game with the robot heads, and then you're told to go to Castle Island because apparently their bridge is broken or some shit. So logically, the person to send to fix it would be the pizza delivery kid who probably doesn't know a damn thing about fixing bridges. But it turns out they need this bridge in order to battle the castle on the other side of the bridge. No, wait, what? People in one castle just want this bridge so they can battle the people in the other castle on the other island? This almost makes me not want to fix the bridge. It seems to be, you know, keeping the peace. There's no logic behind it. There's no logic behind this whole island. But then again, this whole game seems to be to promote Lego sets, so what right do I have to complain? But anyway, you do this scuba diving minigame, which is impossible to control, I might add. And you end up getting another page to the Constructopedia at the bottom of this trench, and somehow it ended up down there. So you fix the bridge, and everyone for some reason rejoices that they get to fight and slaughter each other again. What sick, twisted world is this? But before you have time to question anything, the infomaniac guy calls you up and tells you that the evil castle rolled one of the pages up their flagpole. A white page up their flagpole. Some guy over at that castle is just like, my god, we need a flag, quick! Take this random piece of paper that looks disturbingly like the flag of surrender and run it up the flagpole. And that's not one of my random impersonations. He really does talk like that. I mean, come on! You rolled a white flag up your flagpole. How do you expect them to take this? Oh no, we're not surrendering. We're still fighting. Then why the hell have you rolled a white flag up your flagpole, you stupids? Because we need a flag. And I shit you not, that is their excuse as to why they rolled it up the flagpole. They absolutely, positively need a flag, no matter what color or condition it is in, and their real flag was stolen by the other castle. So you gotta go to the other castle to get their flag back, and the guys at the castle with the page up their pole give you a horse, which Pepper thinks is way cool. Given that he's the protagonist in this game, he thinks everything is way too fucking cool. But anyway, you go to the other castle, it turns out you gotta defeat, what's-his-face in a joust. And I say what's-his-face because they never actually give him a name except for the Black Knight. Well, Also, once you beat him in a joust, he's never talked about again. Speaking of jousting, the controls are impossible to figure out. It's impossible to figure out how the minigame works, and it's completely fucking stupid to think that a child is gonna know what jousting is. What's the recommended age? 6 to 99? It's 6 to 99? Did LEGO Media honestly expect a 99-year-old to pick up this game? Everything makes sense now! Do you guys realize what this means? Bodies will litter the streets, acid will rain from the sky, we'll never hear my voice again, it will be anarchy! That or LEGO was just really trying to reach out to all demographics. Probably that. Anyway, you win the joust and then you deliver the flag to the other castle, but then this other guy comes out and is just like, I'm going to shoot you with cannonballs, ha ha ha! So then you go up and you blow up his cannons with other cannons that are just set up all over the place for some reason. So then you go back to Lego Island and you gotta find more of the pages, but the robots are back and they're all like,
My behavior should be following everyone around and not terrorizing them. It's rather confusing. Beep.
But then you throw pizzas at them again and then they're like,
I have come to the conclusion that I have been killed. Beep.
so you kill some more robots and you get some more pages. Fucking stupid. And then you go to the police station and you get a helicopter and you have to go to Adventure Island now. When you meet this guy, which I forget the name of, who talks with an obnoxious Australian accent, which is probably why I forget his name. But then you have to play this mini game where you're in a car shooting coconuts at snakes. What kind of weapon is this? We're shooting coconuts at snakes? Who thought this was a good idea? Don't give me a gun that shoots coconuts, give me a Lego revolver. I know those exist. I think I have one of those actually in my obnoxiously big bin of Legos. Damn it, Lego, stop shying away from guns! The whole robot problem back on Lego Island could be solved with guns! Actually, technically a cannon is a type of gun, so technically we solved all of our problems on Castle Island with a set of guns. So you do the coconut shooting minigame, and then you're tasked with doing yet another goddamn whack-a-mole minigame. You know they made another Lego Island after this one, right? So you do the stupid minigame, and then you go to this mummy's tomb to do a matching minigame, and then outrun a giant boulder. Then you go to this car to do a racing minigame, and oh my god, what's with all the goddamn minigames? All the while, you're collecting these stupid pages that will allow all of the buildings on Lego Island to come back from space. And then after you do the racing minigame, there's a goddamn fishing minigame. A fishing minigame! Anything but that! But you have to do it because the fish ate one of the pages that you need! Which means we have no choice but to do the fishing minigame! Actually, it's kinda easy. So then after that, you have to do this biplane minigame that I mentioned earlier, where if you don't shoot anything, then you can't replay it later in the game. Where you have to shoot monkeys and gorillas with banana machine guns. What the fuck? Okay, you remember that revolver I asked for earlier? I want it. I want it right now. Chop chop. And give me some coffee! Nobody got me any coffee. So then you go through this section where you're walking, but then you have to ride a T-Rex. And I'm gonna repeat that because I believe it bears repeating. You are riding a T-Rex while dodging damn near everything in the jungle because everything seems to want your head. Looks like everything in this game has had enough of itself too. So then you get to this big main camp where this guy is holding all these dinosaurs captive. And I gotta admit, I did quote this guy when you stole all of his dinosaurs. It's a little bit funny, but otherwise this whole minigame is stupid and there's no way you can lose. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the guy running this camp is apparently on top of this other dinosaurs that's shooting fireballs at you. Fucking fireballs from a dinosaur! They do absolutely no damage. You are in an extremely delicate hot air balloon and they do absolutely no damage. Then you throw sandbags on top of the guy's head and then he dies, or well, he doesn't die because he hands you a page. Why the fuck did he have that? Then you get on a pterodactyl and fly back to Lego Island again. on a pterodactyl. A pterodactyl! The people on Lego Island are freaked out by robots that follow them around and mimic their walk cycle. And now this guy is gonna bring a pterodactyl into the mix. Everyone's gonna have heart attacks. Bodies will litter the streets. Acid will rain from the sky. We'll never hear my voice again. It will be anarchy. Oh wait, I already did that joke. I got my coffee, by the way. Anyway, so those two Italian guys who run the pizzeria, yeah, get it? They're Italian, so naturally they have to run the pizzeria. Get abducted by the Brickster and he declares them as his own personal chefs. And then they all fly off to his magical space island. Cause you know, that still exists. But what's more is that now the robots are even worse. If you throw pizzas at them now, they go like,
I have received upgrades. Your cheese pizza can no longer hurt me. Beep.
So you gotta find more of the pages because the infomaniac thinks that we can beat them with music. So you find more of the pages and go to the radio station and pick up a radio. So now whenever you get close to the robots, they're like,
evacuate the dance floor. I am enchanted by the sound.
but then eventually they'll be like,
Stop, this beat is killing me. No, I'm serious. It is killing me. Beep.
then they die after you've been standing there for like 5 minutes with the boombox next to them. Who thought this was a good idea? Let's have the players stand next to the enemy for about 50 minutes and then eventually they'll die on their own. Then you go find the infomaniac guy who says go to the spaceport where you have to go through the extensive process of astronaut training. There's a bullshit centrifuge minigame and there's a bullshit skydiving minigame. See kids, all you gotta do to become an astronaut is go through 2 bullshit minigames. Now you are qualified to fly a space shuttle. Congratulations. Here's your diploma. Bitch, Lego Universe gets the easy way out. I had to go through 12 years of school to get my diploma. Does Lego Island even have a school? I just checked. It doesn't. So then after you do the skydiving mini-game, turns out that the train is now working again. But you don't even have time to mess around with it, as you gotta go to the spaceport and blast off into space to the Brickster's magical space island or something. You go through an asteroid field and then you parachute down to the island. Wait, what? You parachute down to an island in space. Gravity does not work like that in space. I played Kerbal Space Program. I think I know what's going on. So you've parachuted down to the Brickster's space island, and your next objective is to make enough pizzas to send all of the citizens of this island to sleep. Pizza induces sleep in anyone who eats it. Oh yeah, that's right. Pizza comas are in fact a thing. Wait a minute, we're putting everyone in a coma? Dude, this game got dark. Real dark.
Almost as dark as the Dark Knight.
I'm Batman! So you do that, and then you gotta climb to the top of the Brickster's palace, which is actually this big, weird tower that's an obstacle course, which is complete bullshit, I might add. If you fall, you go all the way back to the beginning! And you have to do every single minute step all over again. And then you use a super hot pizza to defeat the Brickster. And I'm not even kidding, that's literally what you do. In this universe, pizzas are a fucking lethal weapon of mass destruction. The pizza delivery kit, it really is a force to be reckoned with. I can sort of see why the infomaniac put so much faith in the guy. Unfortunately, it wasn't done in 30 minutes or less, which means that his pizza is free! Damn it, Pepper, you could have cashed in big on this one. So the Brickster accidentally locks himself in a prison toilet or something. Pepper and the two who run the pizzeria fly back to Earth, and then everyone celebrates, and Pepper's sister shows up? Or is that his girlfriend? Is it a long-lost cousin? Her role is never really explained, and this is the first time we're seeing any of her. The game developers didn't think to tell people about Pepper's long-lost cousin, girlfriend, sister? What the heck is she? Where was she throughout this entire game? What in God's name is going on? Wise men through the ages have struggled to figure out what is going on in that final cutscene. They can't figure it out. Why did this game receive fair reviews? It makes no sense. I honestly had to play this shit. They're gonna need to pay me a lot more if they want to make this into a regular series. a fishing minigame! But before you have time to question everything going on in the universe,